Hello everyone, I'm Coin Brother Blur, and welcome to How to Make a Simple Blender Game Part 1. And what I'll be doing in this part is making a character mesh. I'm going to be starting from the very beginning, so if you are completely new to Blender, hopefully, I'll be able to make this clear enough, and you will learn at the end of this how to make a simple Blender game. So, I'll be using Blender 2.73, by the way. So, here we go. The name of our dude is going to be Top Hat, and the name of our game is going to be Top Hat's Adventure. Now, kind of weird, kind of generic, but this is just an example. Alright, so first of all, what we're going to do is, I need to turn this cube into a character. Well, how do I do that? Well, the way I go about it is usually use a subsurf modifier. And what a subsurf modifier is basically takes this cube and turns it into a sphere, but it allows us to still mess with the faces as if it was a cube. And it's very useful in lots of ways. If you want to add that, just go down here, go into your modifier tab, and go down here to subdivision surface. Turn that on, and we can see here it turns it into a sphere. Or you can press Control 1, Control 2. Control 1 will add it with one subdivision. So we can see here the view is one subdivision, and it will also render differently as well. So when you render, just remember when you render it, it's going to be however many subdivisions that is. But press Control 2, it'll do 2 subdivisions, Control 3, Control 4, you know, on and on. So what I just need is 1 though, because it's going to be a very simple character. And it's going to be a very simple game. So I don't want it to, I still want it to render as 1. I'm not going to render it because I'll be using the Blender game engine, but I'll just keep it like that. All right, so now we've got a kind of sphere here, and if we go into edit mode using tab, pressing tab, we can see here that we've got, we can still mess around with our faces while having kind of this sphere. So this is very useful. All I'm going to do is bring this up, and that will be kind of the torso of our dude. Now, I'm going to go to front view with orthographic front view and add a cube. So I'm going to kind of be going through this really quickly just to show you. So this is the leg. Select the top of this. Now what you can do with subsurf modifiers is you can crease. You may be wanting like this side flat. What you can do is just press Shift E and then drag in and out, and it will crease that. So there we go. That side is completely flat. What I need though is this bottom one to be flat and this top one to be flat. Oh, oops. There we go. All right, wonderful. So now, we'll grab this. Actually, I'm just gonna make the foot the shoe now. So cursor is selected, a cube, and let's do that. About like that. Well, let's actually make it a little bit smaller. Let's pull this out. Select this, Shift E to crease that, and I might make I'll make a loop cut here, and then grab that face right there and extrude it up just kind of for a boot look. Crease that maybe too. And crease this front face too. Maybe not. No, I think it's good enough. I'll bring it forward a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we've got the boot now. I'm going to select this with L and L. That will select the whole mesh or the whole cube or whatever you've got, whatever you're wanting to select, like a cylinder or whatever. I'm actually going to grab this, bring it up a little bit, like this, like this. And what I'm going to do is just duplicate it like this. There we go. And it's okay. It's not the best, but it's alright. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is make some arms. So, cursor to selected, add a cube, bring this up here. Kind of going through this quickly. If you don't really know what I'm doing, I will make more tutorials in the future. Right now, if you don't know anything about edit mode or any of this stuff, then just try to follow along. But if you want to understand it and see what's going on, and you don't, then leave in the comments, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to make one. Okay, I'm just add a cube. Just kind of have a ball for his hand. There we go. And I think I'm going to make a loop cut here for the elbow. When the elbow bends, I want it to be able to bend there. Now, I'm not going to do it for the knee, because I already know the knee, it will subdivide in the right places on the legs. For some reason, I've made this before. I made this exact character kind of practice before I made this video, and so I know what's going to happen. But anyway, so yeah, so we've got that. Now let's just duplicate the arm. So now here's a trick. If you want it exactly as the same as the other side, make sure your character is in the exact center of the world. Press Control R, Control G, just to make sure. That will clear the rotation and clear the location of it, and it will snap it right to the exactly center of your world, because that's just the default place for a cube or an object. And then, or you can go up here to N, and here's your location of your thing. Just type in all of those 0, and it will snap it right to the center. Let's say we got it over here, and we've got the center. We just type 0 and 0. Boom. Right to the center of the world. Okay, make sure it's in the center of the world, first of all. Then, let's go down here and select 3D cursor, the pivot point around the 3D cursor. So now, before we've got a median point. If we select anything and we rotate it, it's going to rotate at the center of that object. We see it's right here where the gizmo is. That's that little three-prong thing with the z-axis, which is blue, the y-axis, which is green, and the x-axis, which is red. It's going to rotate around that. But if we select the 3D cursor, it's going to rotate around the 3D cursor. We see the 3D cursor is right there. Your 3D cursor is what is where your objects will appear when you add them into your scene. And it's also useful for other things as well, but right now it's very useful for pivoting. So what we need to is press Shift C to have the 3D cursor exactly in the center of the world. And then, oh yeah, by the way, this is N to pop up. I think it's called a specials menu. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, pop that up. Okay, pop that back. And then over here is your tool shelf, which is T to pop out. Okay. So now it's going to rotate, everything's going to rotate right around that 3D cursor. And this is exactly what we want. Now, select this arm, and select that arm, or select that hand and arm, and Shift D to duplicate. And now we see it, we've got it right here, but then right click to snap it right back to where it was. Scale on the x-axis, -1. Boom. It's exactly the same as the other side. We're flipping it, we're scaling it around that 3D cursor, and that 3D cursor is exactly in the center of the world, so it's going to be exactly on the other side. It's a nice little trick. I use it all the time. But if you do it with meshes, you may notice here there's something strange going on. This arm is darker than the other one. Well, that's because when you do that, it actually turns the mesh inside out. So what you need to do is scale it on the x-axis -1. Oh, wait a second. Make sure it's on the median point right there. Okay, and scale it on the x-axis -once again. Then, wait a second. Just select this. Scale on the x -1. Then select the hand. Scale on x -1. There we go. And basically, it turns it right side out again. Turns it around again, and there we go. Now we need to make sure that both of these are creased. Otherwise, because basically what it did is flip these two faces around like this. Just flipped them around. And so just need to make sure those are fine. Wait a second here. Okay. Sorry. Just checking something real quick. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. We've got the arms on the right sides, and everything's just perfect. We could have also done that with the legs, but the legs, I mean, you could also copy that over, but the arms and the hands are a little bit harder to copy over exactly because you got to flip them. But anyway, so then now let's make the face, the head. So, I'm just going to crease this just a little bit. Shift the cursor to selected. Let's add a cube. And there we go. Now, this is going to be kind of a very cartoony character. And his name is going to be Mr. Top Hat. And there we go. So, we've got the head. Now, to add a top hat, I need to add a cylinder. But cylinders and cones do not work well with the subsurf modifier. For example, if I add one right here, Blender tries its best to smooth the cylinder out, but it does a very bad job, and it messes it all up. So we don't want that. So what we need to do is add everything like that after, like UV spheres and things we don't want subsurfed, later after we apply the subsurf modifier, which is right there. So first of all, what I need to do is add a nose though. So cursor is selected right in the center, which is exactly where we want it. Scale this nose down. Let's extrude. Oops, let's rotate. Don't want to rotate it. And there we go. Kind of a very cartoony nose. You can do it however you want. But there we go. Cartoony nose. Woohoo! So, now, that's basically all we need. So, now for the smile. If we want a 3D smile, that's very easy. But if you want a textured smile, which is most smiles are textured, or if you want an inset mouth, I'll show you how to do the inset mouth now. The 3D mouth is not usually used, so I'm not going to tell you that. And if you want texture, that's a whole nother kettle of fish or bucket of worms or whatever metaphor you want to use. Because that is a very big, broad subject, and it gets quite hard and complicated at times, so I'm not going to be covering that right now. So what I'm going to show you is how to make an inset mouth. So what we need to do is add the apply the subsurf modifier, because we don't need anything else subsurfed right now. So we're going to apply that. We're going to go out of edit mode, because you need to go out of edit mode and apply the subsurf modifier. Now we go into edit mode, and whoa, look at all of these faces. We've got a lot of faces, and that is because it actually applies it now, and all of those are now faces and edges and stuff like that. So that's very nice. So now what we need to do is add the top hat really quick. And we get the top hat and the eyes before I do the smile. Okay, so now let's add a cylinder. And you can see over here on our tool panel, or tool shelf, or whatever you call it, we've got under add cylinder, right underneath the cylinder, we've got our vertices, or vertices. And we don't want it that high quality, because the rest of the mesh isn't that high quality. We can have it that high quality, but whenever you can, try to downsize your mesh, or not make as many vertexes, because it'll get very complicated, and you could slow down the game or the render or whatever you're doing with it. So let's turn this down to 10. Now I like keeping all the numbers even, because if you have it like 9, then the edges aren't exactly facing each other, but that's just my personal preference. I have a habit of mispronouncing names on purpose, like preference or vertices. I don't know. But yeah, that's just a habit of mine. Okay, so that's just my preference. Okay, so I'm gonna move this up now. Let's scale it down, about that big right there. Okay, I'll duplicate that, scale it on the z-axis, bring it down, scale it out right there, and I believe that's alright. Okay, so we've got a nice little top hat now. And we might do something strange. We might do something weird at the top. Let's make it kind of crooked. Let's scale it a little bit, just for some fun. Gotta have fun when you're messing around with models. That don't look so good. A lot of modeling with Blender is trial and error, so don't feel bad if you got it wrong on the first try. Just keep trying. I do like kind of that tilt though. Okay, so here we go. We've got top hat. Oh, I'm gonna add the eyes now. Yeah, as I was saying, a lot of modeling in Blender is trial and error. It is quite like that. Just finding out what you like best. Oh, also really quick, I was gonna mention. You see here, I told you right there the loop cut that I want for the knee, and right there, I just added that one for the arm. Okay, so let's go back and add that UV sphere again. Shift A to add. And so we've got the same thing as we got with our cylinder. We just got segments and rings instead of vertexes. So I'm going to turn these down. I'm going to turn this one to 8. Let's turn this one to 12, I guess. That's pretty good. Okay, rotate it. On the x-axis, 90 degrees, and this makes a wonderful eyeball. There we go. Okay, so now, the same trick with the eyeballs as with the arms, although we don't have to. No, wait a second. I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. Let's add it. Let's make one a little bigger than the other one. And let's make one a little squinted. There. Just kind of adds a little goofy look to him. There we go. He already looks goofy. Let's add some more goofiness. Alright. There we go. See, I just like doing goofy stuff sometimes. I mean, if it was a specific character, of course I wouldn't do that. But, you know, if you're just making up a character for a tutorial, you might as well have fun with it. So, now I'll show you how to... Wait a second. My mouse has caught my cord. Come on. Okay. That's weird. Got caught on my extension cord. Alright, so, I'm going to make the mouth now. So what we need is to inset these faces, or just make them kind of go in. So, a useful tool for making a smile is the knife tool. And how you do that is you can go over here to your tools. Under mesh tools, you can select knife, or K is the shortcut key. Now this is a very powerful tool, and I'm not going to explain everything about it because there's a lot of things. Right down here, you can read it if you want, all the controls, and there's lots of interesting things with this. I may just do a tutorial on only this eventually in the future. If you want, put it in the comments. Okay, so what we can do is just basically draw. So I'm going to start drawing with my left mouse button. I'll click and put a smile right there. There we go. There, and press spacebar to save it. Now it kind of messes up the median points of the faces. You can see these little black dots, or the median points of the faces. It messes them up sometimes, but it's alright. So now we've got the face, inset it in, or extrude it in. Oops. There we go. And you can do whatever you want. That's a very basic way of making a mouth. You can do whatever you want with it. You can bring the lips together if you want, whatever. But right now, I'm just going to leave it like it is. So there we go. There's our guy. Now, last step is to paint him. And I also want to make his shoes just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to select both of these. Scale a little bit like that. Maybe scale a little bit. There we go. And yeah, that looks better. Just whatever looks good for you, you do that. And I think the arms are a little too short as well. Sorry, I keep making all these changes, but now it's still okay. It's still a median point, but that's all right. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna bring these in real quick. Sorry. But, you know, if you think it's just fine like it is, just keep it that way. But I, personally... Oh, I need to rotate this, because they're not exactly the same. Like I was saying earlier, these need to be exactly the same, but they weren't because I flipped them. And so just remember to rotate those 180 degrees on the z-axis. Okay, sorry. But yeah. Okay. I'm going to do that again. Sorry. I'm sorry. But I just, it's kind of my OCD. I gotta get him, kind of gotta get him like I like it. I don't have to, but I prefer to. Okay, scale this in. Alright, there we go. A little bit of editing there. Okay, so, alright, so there he is, guys. Now what we've got to do is paint him. But first of all, he looks a little too flat, a little too boxy, and you probably noticed that. Otherwise, you may need to, anyway, alright, so, I don't know what I was going to say. So, what we can do to fix that really simply is go over here to our transform, oh, wait a second. Create. Where did it go? Come on. Oh, right here. Yeah. Under transform, the shading, just select smooth. And whoa, that makes it look way better. Although, sometimes it will make your face look a little strange. It looks kind of like he's got a mustache or something. So I'll have to edit that a little bit. But that helps a lot, especially in characters like this. Makes them look much better. So yeah, I'm gonna fix those faces as much as I can right now. There we go. That fixed that one. You just gotta find the special place. That's not gonna work. Well, it's not that important, but in some cases it will make it look very strange if I don't get it fixed. Now, always keep in mind that it's going to be changing the look of your face however you move it. No pun intended. Face, get it? Yeah, it's not perfect, but I'll live with it. Alright, so, yeah, let's just get on with painting the dude. Okay, so, his skin, I guess, can be white. And maybe his torso can be... So let's select the material that is going to be used most often for the default material. Maybe his shirt will be blue. Yeah, because blue is my favorite color. Because, yeah, that's why I like Sonic the Hedgehog so much. Not the only reason, but yeah. Okay, so I'll add another material for his pants, or whatever they are, leggings or whatever. Because they're not really pants, they're kind of like leggings. Because I want to kind of have a way to differentiate between him. Maybe I'll have his shirt actually like a red or something, because now he's blushing. Ooh, ooh, blushing. So yeah, just so there's an easy way to differentiate, whatever. I'm gonna move this up right there. Okay, and that too. Yeah, that's good enough. Oh, sorry, it's another one of my pet peeves. Need to make sure these are kind of flat. Okay, there we go. All right, enough of that. We need to keep forgetting. Just gotta paint this guy. It's a whole raisin. Okay, so now we're gonna make black. I'm gonna make a black for his hands and also for his pupils and his eyes. Assign. And now we can do the pupils right now. Also, the inside of his mouth. This will be very useful for the inside of his mouth. So I'll press hold down Alt to select a band of faces or edges, and then shift select those. Let's assign that. Let's select. Wait a second. We just want to use C for the circle select. C for circle select. Select those two right there. Hit assign. There we go. That's, I believe, all the black we need. Now let's move on to, I guess brown for his boots. And we could name all of these, but you know, you don't really need to. You can name all these materials right here. And a lot of people get really intense about it. You gotta name everything. And I do name most of my things. I will name this object after I'm done with it. I will name the bones once I'm done with them. But with the materials, I just some of them I do name, most of them I don't. It's just something I do. You can name if you want, right there, you can name them, but you don't have to. I mean, never mind. I guess if you really feel like you have to, then you have to. But anyway, all right, let's make also the hat black. I forgot about that. The top hat. Make the top hat black. Let's add Now let's add a white, as white as possible, but, well, not as white as possible, but let's turn up the emit some of it, because it's going to be the eyeballs. What I really should have done is just selected L with those. Blip, blip, assign, and then we can do this. I forgot about that. There we go. That looks a little better. He's still blushing, though, and we'll make a different white for his face. Yeah, white. You know, white is a cartoony character's face, and I'll just do that. His nose, too. We don't want him to have a red nose. You could if you want, but I'm not going to. Okay, there he is, Mr. Top Hat. Oh, wait a second. I colored the inside of his mouth by accident. Sorry about that. There we go. Wow. Woohoo! So there he is, Mr. Top Hat. And that's all for this part. So I got done making him, and next part I will make bones for him so he can move and dance and everything. So anyway, yeah, that's about all there is to say. So, remember to subscribe and like if you want to support our Coin Brothers channel. Me and Eli Bot are the kind of authors, well, the authors, if you want to call it that, of the creators of this channel. And, whenever we get together, we try to make a playthrough of a game. And the game we're doing right now is, we actually just started, the game we're doing right now is Super Mario 64 Multiplayer version 1.3. So go check that out if you want. Remember to like and comment in. Put your put your questions and comments in the comments, because we will do the question and answers once we get enough questions, and we'll have the answers hopefully. Answers. That's another word I pronounce differently. Answers. And oh my, excuse me. I just burped a big one. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say. So until next time, I'm Blurr. See you later.